Hi, this is Charles Castor from Charles Castor Fitness and Fit Dad Syndicate. And with me today, I have got Dale Tolmasoff. How are you, Dale?
Good, thank you.
Dale is a client. He has gone through, he's in the program still. But Dale, it was interesting when I met you, Dale. I know that there were a lot of doubts in your mind. I know that you're 58, you're 6'2". At the time, you were 305 pounds. When you and I talked and we chatted, I know that you had been struggling with this thing since you were like 7 years old. So like your whole life, there was this problem that was plaguing you. And, you're type 2 diabetic at the time, no energy. And the fact that you had lost 80 pounds before and then you put it back on, and that whole yo-yo nightmare that people go through because the whole world loses weight, whole world puts it back on because the way they get to their goal is something that I know that you were very like, man, I've done this, but I don't think I could do this and just be done with it. All right. And when I met you, you tried Atkins, keto, intermittent fasting, low carb, you've done everything to try to fix this problem. So I guess maybe you can tell people a little bit more. And we just kind of talked about it. What were some of the things you were personally struggling with before we talked, right? Before we talked on that call and some of the things you conveyed, what were some of the biggest issues that you had?
So as you said, the first time I lost 80 pounds, after that, it kept getting harder and harder to do that again. I mean, because I had gained it all back. That's the problem, of course. And each time you gain more than what you lost. At least was my experience. And so I almost felt like if I had never dieted after that, I would never be as big as I had gotten, I think the top weight, I don't think I had told you, but at the top weight I had gotten as heavy as 400 pounds, but eventually I got diabetes. So I actually surprisingly lost a lot of weight as a result, because I was not taking care of my diabetes. I was almost like ignoring that I had it. And anyway, my body just wouldn't take it. In fact, eventually my toe got infected as a result, and they had to amputate it. As you probably hear, diabetics sometimes have to deal with amputations. And so I was one of those people, unfortunately. So there was just so much frustration that it felt like I was in this hole and I couldn't get out of it. I kept trying to dig my way out, but nothing happened. My whole dieting experience was, and I would say most of my time was focused on low carb diets, but I just couldn't sustain them. And so it was like a roller coaster up and down. And if I just look over time, I was never making progress. I would always be around the 300-pound. So that was really frustrating. And that's where I was really.
Okay. And so those are some pretty severe things, and you dealt with them for quite a while. So obviously coming in, what were your biggest concerns when you and I chatted the first time about anything, about meeting me on Facebook, whatever? I mean, what were some of the concerns prior to coming in the program that you had?
So I had watched a lot of the testimonials that you have on your page. And so it made me feel like maybe you had something that I hadn't seen and hadn't found elsewhere. But I was partially afraid that this was somewhat of a bait and switch, especially like when you say you could have what you want to eat and you can still lose weight. So, I read that kind of thing in sales pages, and then, it doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was worried that, it was going to really turn out to be as it was advertised. Money was also a concern. It was a factor. But to be honest, in the end, I consider that an investment in myself, because I thought if this really works, it will be worth, and it did turn out to be that way.
So let's hear your results so that people are waiting with bated breath. So you were at 305, whatever, you've been down from 400. What are your results during the time in this program so far?
So it's been a little over 6 months, and I've lost about 65 pounds. So I'm at 240 at the moment, and I'm still going. You had suggested that I could do 50 pounds in 6 months. So I ended up doing more than that and at a steady pace also, which was great. I mean, even you prepared me in for things like I went on my first cruise in November, and and I ate what I wanted. I didn't want to feel, limited, but I actually lost some weight after that, believe it or not. I
Yeah.
never thought that would be possible.
So okay, so you come in this program with some doubts. You go on a cruise during the program. During a cruises are not pleasant either. I go on cruises and I do partake in the buffet, and I do partake. I got a sweet tooth. I'm a certified diver, so I love that too. So you were saying before that you didn't know, like, with the sustainability aspect. So do you really think this is something you can sustain for the rest of your life, enjoy your life, go on a cruise or two, and still end up and be okay for the rest of your life?
Yes, I'm convinced of that now. I really feel like you guys have solved the puzzle, of how to lose weight. And so now that I have that, I feel you've supplied me with what I need, the ammunition to be able to fight this battle to the end. And so I'm convinced. I mean, I know how to do it now. I know what I need to do to reach my goal, and I'm convinced that once I get to my goal, I'll stay there for the rest of my life. I'll never gain it back.
And it's not as hard as people
You've
think it.
equipped me,
it-
that's the
Pardon me?
thing. You've equipped me.
Good.
You've equipped me, and
That's
yeah.
so it's not as hard as you thought it was, correct? Because most people think it's harder and they just don't know.
I've told Matt, my coach, who's been fantastic on this whole journey. I've told him more than once that it felt like I wasn't on a diet at all, And so as a result, I mean, I honestly have been able to have practically anything I want um, to eat. If I'm in the mood for something, I don't generally hold myself back. I mean, within reason, but I have certain guidelines, but still, if I'm in the mood for something, I'll have it. And as a result, I don't feel like I've been deprived. And that's part of the reason why I feel like there's no reason for me to ever gain the weight back, because it's not like I have to make up for lost time or anything like that.
That's so encouraging to hear, especially no one talking to you before you came in, that you've been struggling with this since you're 7 years old. So, man, it just does our heart good to see this. And we're just thrilled to have you in the program and the community, and that, the trajectory of your life is different. And it's so cool. It just is. And it's very humbling. What would you say to somebody that's sitting on the fence, maybe perusing through these testimonials, kind of like you did? And what would you say to them if someone's sitting on the fence just saying, what the heck should I do here? I don't know about this.
I just want to say it's real. The way Chuck describes it is really the way it is. It's no false promises or false advertising. I think your struggles, your lifelong struggles that you've dealt with for years are finally going to be at an end if you do it. I'm convinced that if I didn't contact you, I would still be where I was. I would go nowhere. And so if you really want to make a change, in your life, this program really will be it. It'll solve this. I don't know. There's so much misinformation in the world right now, unfortunately. You would think that with the internet and everything, wow, so much information, but there's too much misinformation, and you don't know who to trust. And that's why I thank God that I met you and Matt, and this has just been a blessing for me. And I would encourage anyone else to try it out, do it.
That's awesome. It sends shivers down my arm. To tell you the truth, it's awesome because I remember where you started. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with people. And if anybody would like to schedule a strategy call, just to find out what we do. I mean, I got to tell you, we don't try to sell you anything. You can listen, see if you resonate with us. If you don't, that's fine, because we do have a community of pretty tight guys, and we stay as a community. I mean, you're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? We all become friends as we go through this. So I appreciate you coming on and just opening your heart, Dale. And if you want to schedule a call, either below me or above me, somewhere there's a link where you can actually schedule a call, go into the calendar and find out for yourself. So thank you very much, Dale. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Chip.
Bye-bye.